Okay, so, and one thing before we go, if anybody is interested or wants to share their contact in Discord port, then add your sticky or your name or a way how to contact you on a Zoom call. I will add it to the video description because sometimes the discussions go quite like interesting. Somebody is talking about data structures or somebody talking about some healthcare information or whatever their expertise is, and then they want to hook up with like, hey, can I ask more questions about, or can we collaborate? And you can add it later also into the Matterport, so it's asynchronous part. It will always be open to edit and check out and copy. Something a little bit about part. So I will be sharing every session and these kinds of mini proposal templates. The sessions we can decide to run it whenever we want, or I will bring this concept up every now and then in the after down halls for the newcomers. So if you see it again and you think, hey, maybe we should continue one idea or iterate on something new, then just check it out. And this board, there will always be a mini proposal process, latest video put together where we kind of compile together what is this process about. Today I will go slightly into this, but not too detailed. So if we have any questions, you just ask me. And there is a playlist of how other sessions have gone, and there's a board for like project management, how I keep balance of who is doing what in, and how do we organize and make this process itself like a collaborative and like an amazing effort, like where others in future could come and iterate on this and use it for their advantage to create proposals. So a bit about the process. So we start with the problem statement because that's like the most important, in my opinion, to start the idea. And the goal there is to like starting questions like, what problem do you see? Then we add some sticky notes, and then we go into, we select one kind of problem statement, we align, and we then ask why this problem is a problem. So we're gonna do like a root cause analyzing, and through this questionnaire, we kind of finally ideate through entire information what we would need for a proposal. Yeah, and the way we start this session is we would just propose the problems we want to think about or turn into proposals right now in this session. So let's do a roundtable and have everybody to say or contribute to the idea or problem we want to solve today. Or let's start with from left to right. I'm gonna start with Steven.
Okay, so would this be in reference to a proposal that we've already worked on, or like just in the world you're talking about, like let's think of a problem right now?
Both works. So ideally I would hope that you would suggest or propose something you would want to work on. Okay. And then we will get further and might be able to find something we could execute on. Okay,
so I'm interested in blockchain education, and the way that came out for Fund 7 was basically making a education for the Latin American community. So essentially turning it into Spanish, Portuguese, but in general, blockchain education.
Okay, so you see that there is a lack. So the problem for you would be the lack of blockchain education for Latin American community.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, Victor Larden.
Yes, hello. I'm working with one small town, and we need specific tools, like a specific wallet to time and bank the time of volunteers, and we need a specific smart card. So the problem we are trying to solve to be large is capitalism, and we have a third way that is called contributionism. And for that, we have one small town initiative. And my proposals, found 7, are to create specific tools that we need.
So I guess your problem is that small town is missing the collaborative tools with like contribution tools.
So yeah, something like that. We are missing blockchain tools to expand our vision, because we have many towns that we need to implement, and for that we need the blockchain technology.
Cool. So currently I'm working on a proposal to build a DID. I was part of the Atala Prism program, and I'm currently working on building a DID for this. There's a city in Lithuania called Užupis, and it kind of pretty much invites everybody who wants to be a member of that city. So I'd like to build a DID for this, so that at least everybody has like a digital token that they could be a member of this city. It's like an artsy city. It's called Užupis. So that's what I'm currently working on.
If you would turn it into problem statement or a problem, then the problem would be that there is no decentralized identity to just onboard, or where would you see the problem?
Because currently the premise of this city, because they allow everybody to be, they sort of declared their own independence, if you could call it that. I don't see it as a problem, but I see it more like an opportunity for Cardano to sort of use DIDs to provide anybody who wants to be a citizen of Užupis with this, actually. So, that's kind of like the main thing I'd like to work on.
Okay. Tom Frey, do you want to add?
Good day, everybody. When I say the words or the phrases IO, Discord, Telegram, Newbie, HODL, Reddit, seed phrase, wallet, Rust, and ADA, you all immediately have a picture in your mind of what it is. But for us seniors, many seniors, not having grown up with, and the joke is always, if we wanted to get going back a few years, a VCR to work, we always get a 12-year-old to do it. So the problem I see is the senior market is being underserved, undereducated, especially if Cardano and some of the better networks are looking to get seniors and their money into the market. We need to educate them. And my problem statement, I guess, would be the senior market is undereducated.
Simon Heath, do you want to add? Or...
And it's Fry, by the way. It's a Germanic enunciation.
Finally found my mouse again. I was trying to turn off the mouse cursors in Miro for you, so it's not just distracting. The one I've been looking at, because I'm trying to start a community group, is not many people have got the financial and technological nous on how to access all this DeFi stuff. So I'm looking at, could we build a DAO that allows people to do staking and yield farming and that sort of thing, and take a little proportion of that and use that to fund community activities. So it's you know, that would be cross-chain into other blockchains as well, but that allowing people to access those high yields, because at the moment you get like 0.5% interest on savings accounts. So I thought, could we create a community level savings account that we take an operational fee from to run other activities? don't know how you want to word that.
People are uneducated and missing easy platforms to leverage DeFi.
Yeah, that's it.
Can work on the wording. All right. Then in order to support, I will share the Miro board link again this time because I would like to do a bit of voting, decentralized voting, because I think we have a lot of ideas this time in order to just make a choice. If you join a Miro board, then you will be able to select the sticky and add a counter to it. Let me figure out where is my voting tool. Let's give everybody 3 votes, 2 minutes, 1 vote per object. So what will happen now is I'm gonna show you. Start. Then everybody who joins the Miro board should have this voting session, 2 minutes running. You will click on join voting, and then you will have an option to click on the sticky note. And once you have chosen 3, you will be like out of votes. If you want to remove, there is a next to this is a button. So what do we vote for is basically what problem statements you will want to continue with. Then if you join after I start voting, I'm not sure can you then join into the voting. But
Yeah, I thought it was only 1 vote, but that's all right.
But that was, we see that we have very, like, from different perspectives, these results, and hard to kind of choose between which one we need. But here, if we go with these results, then does anybody want to object about going into senior market is uneducated about blockchain technology? No, if no disputes, then we're gonna go with this one. So since we have a quite a nice problem statement, now let's ask why is it a problem that senior market is uneducated about blockchain technology? It feels like very funny question, like very obvious, but nonetheless, let's have a go at it, and let's start from the person who put the problem statement up here. So if Tom Fry, I called it correctly.
Okay, what I say, number 1 is the senior market grew up with centralized banking and has only been educated on central banking and or using brokers, i.e. stockbrokers, to invest their money.
I would add that I feel like the senior market is the ones who actually hold a lot of wealth and capital, and because now since they are not new about DeFi and all of these blockchain possibilities, and since they're also, like you said, not knowing about that, then they are not gonna invest into that either and give the money to the broker who will not want to give it to the decentralized power because he's in centralized system and gaining for the fact that he's being trusted to allocate money. So yeah, that's what
I would agree with you there. In the centralized market, if there's not a commission to be earned, the brokers don't move money that way. And also the difference between ignorance and uneducated and stupidity are 3 different things. So most of the senior market, the ones with the wealth, I believe, are ignorant of the capability of decentralization.
Right now, what kind of pops out here is focus on where the money is invested, and yep, kind of the unawareness of blockchain benefits. I would assume the benefits would also mean the fact that the impact it could bring us from like climate change perspective or a healthcare perspective. Yes, Aaron?
Yeah, I was thinking on the governance side as well, because there's we've got the representative democracy system and everybody thinking it's failing and don't realize there are other opportunities that we've got to maybe move stuff towards a decentralized model. So that's another area that they're going to be ignorant of. I think a lot of people in the blockchain area don't even realize there's a potential there. They're just looking at whether the price of Bitcoin has gone up or down today.
Yep. If we would want to, well, not if, one thing what I'm trying to do in this mini proposal process is now to scope down, which what I mean by this is going like to the smallest piece of that puzzle. So in order to like move through this process faster and find something executable. And right now our paths are kind of like breaking up between, do we want to focus on the fact where how to kind of onboard and educate the seniors how to use the money or the investments they hold, or what are the other value holding possibilities and value creation benefits, or we want to focus on just the knowledge of there are these kinds of projects which do have impact on planet or impact on like human healthcare or innovative technology like metaverses or political or governance things like DAOs. So which, like, what kind of area we think we should focus first or right now? And these, I'm going to the right direction. So if I am, then you just have to do a voting. And Scott.
Yeah, feel free to delete anything I typed on a sticky note. I was just putting thoughts on there. Is there a design? I mean, it's kind of like the unknown, right? Because senior citizens don't know it exists. So, I mean, they don't know, like it'd be hard to determine if they actually want to be, if it's something they're interested in and investing. So it's like, they don't know they want to invest in it because they don't know it exists, or they don't know they don't know what it is. I mean, I've only been in it 7 months and like I'm retired, and it takes all of my time, took all of my time in the past 7 months to get to where I am now as far as understanding it. So it's like, is there a benefit? Are they willing to put in the effort? And I think those are hard questions to answer, because if they don't know it exists, then how can they say if they want to put in the effort or not? So I don't know if there's an easy solution to this, but I guess if education is like more LE5 information was available and education was available, and I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words. I think there's also kind of like that generational gap too. Like I think Tom said, as far as them being tied up in like bonds and traditional investments and stuff, and learning a whole new system. Like for me, it was easy because I've been in technology, and like my degree is in technology, and all my experience in life is in technology aside from working on boats in the military. And so there's that. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Scott, I as a pun, I would say it's a ILA 65, not 5. But if you notice the commonality with one of the other sticky notes in the problem, South America, it was also education. And I've seen that commonality come across time and time again. So I think it's, you know, kind of like the movie, if you build the ball field in the cornfield, they'll come if they know about it.
Yeah, I think it's easy education, not easy access. And, you know, instead of, like, for instance, I was talking to somebody during the town hall. It's like, do you know, in order to stay abreast of everything that's going on in Cardano, you have to use no less than 7 platforms to know what is going on. You have to use Meetup, Reddit, Twitter, Discord, Zoom, email, which is pretty easy, Telegram, Miro. I mean, if you want to participate, nothing against you, Tevo. I love Miro boards too. And then any other platform that might be out there. That's like 7 platforms. No senior citizen is going to do that. I mean, I'm about to give up on it, and I got about 15 years to go.
Well, I'm 67. I started this journey about 6-8 months ago. I got a degree in science, I got a degree in environmental, and I got a degree in Chinese medicine. So that's the holistic approach. But it's Cardano is difficult to stay abreast of. As you said, it's 7 and you forgot the Google Docs. And most seniors aren't going to want to get into that. They're not anal like I am. And they don't go down the wormhole as much as I do. And that's why I think, you know, the old, what is it, KISS? Everybody kind of knows that one, keep it simple. And for seniors, we need to keep it simple. We need to educate, I believe, and we need to get them involved because there's a lot of wealth there.
Yes, someone?
I was going to say, maybe what you need to look at is what's going to be the biggest motivator for people to get into the platform. And then you can work out what education you need to put out to go out with outreach and bring them in. And maybe money is that motivator. Once people, you know, you start talking about rates like 20% APR and impact investing and things like that, it's maybe that's where you can get that hook to people. I don't know, that's just my personal opinion. You can challenge me on that or contribute to it, but I feel that that's maybe the driver that would get people to start wanting to educate themselves.
You can mention inflation and fixed income. And there you go.
I think also the risk appetite is low, and I think majorly in most media and so on, it's always communicated that it's a high risk area. So probably that's why they would drag their feet in getting into this.
And I think on that point too, I think that would determine, like there are many less riskier assets that still return a higher value than, you know, whatever was said, like the 0.05% that your MMA might get from the bank. But you are right. I mean, and I think that's part of the education too, as far as educating on the appropriate platforms. And it is, it's like if they're risk adverse, then, you know, maybe you don't want to educate them on liquidity pools or you know, stuff of that nature. Maybe just introduce them to, I don't know, something like Gemini, which is, it's not Cardano, but Gemini's got the GUSD, and you can earn 8% or high 7% on that, and it's just sitting there. It's less risk than liquidity pool or farming. And I think any base chain staking is also pretty lower risk, I should say.
Okay, so now we actually have 2 options here. Do we want to go down through a specific educational lane, or we choose the different option and go through the requirements of what incentives and what kind of events, or it still kind of need a first pilot program of what education we do, whatever we can propose, which has that requirement of incentivizing that senior to go to that educational process to benefit from that, we would still need to select an area and would you agree with that? And if no objections, then maybe let's do another voting round, unless somebody just calls out and stakes his age on, no, we need this education first. And I would totally agree with that.
One thing I would like to contribute to it, and I don't know how much good it would do. I'm 67 and I've been teaching a blockchain class called Blockchains for Blockheads. It's designed for those people who don't know much about the blockchain. And I struggle to keep up, but the benefit, I think, is that seniors are going to wake up when this blockchain has changed lives and they're going to be left out of some things. So process, I think, of trying to include them into what's about to happen. And I have seniors that are in my class that are interested in that. So as far as a platform, perhaps I could contribute a platform and maybe collaborate with Tom and see what we can come up with. But it would be nice to get funding. Just to, you know, if nothing else, promote it. So I get paid to do my blockchain class, so I wouldn't need money, wouldn't need any compensation. I just want to contribute.
I like your input, Kate. Maybe that is something to be already, maybe this is the education impact is the most important to focus as a start, where you said that the seniors won't be left out. And once you have this educational component, here is a platform here, this is how you funnel all these people who want to learn about blockchain, because in the end, they kind of have to have that want and that passion. Okay, my kids are talking about, my wife is talking about, my spouse is talking about it. Let me take that 1 hour or 2 hour course, go in that platform, sign it up, sit in the Zoom call and just learn what is coming towards us. And having this kind of process or this platform or this funneling method is like, in my mind, is like the educational pattern, like the educational tech, and what you also mentioned about. And I don't know, are everybody with me, or let's have a voting result to decide which kind of perspective we go.
I'm with you, Tevo. I vote for that verbally.
Okay, I see nobody else jumping. And yes, Pete?
I'll vote verbally. I'm not able to get to the screen. Not,
Yeah, I kind of felt that you were on that vote as your expertise and the story you shared. Okay, since I do not see any objection from anybody else, or then let's go with that. I'm going to share this sticky out here. And so now we have another kind of stage. So we kind of selected the problem we wanted to work on. So we selected this. Let me update this. I like to update this list because it's visually pleasing for the newcomers to join instead of going through all the sticky notes. And now we asked, why is it the selected problem a problem? Maybe I should have done it after with this. And kind of following now the education impact. So let's turn it into problem statement. Okay, right now it's not. Usually, what happens is when we get to this stage that we kind of have the next problem statement, we go to even more deeper. Why is it the problem? And that like usually this answer is like, why is it the problem? Senior markets educated gives us a new problem, but I think there is a possibility that maybe this is quite well and general problem statement at the start, that it was hard to kind of restate it and scope it down even more. Or no, actually it is what we kind of ended up with was more like senior market does not have an educational platform. So in this place, I have some good news. Okay, so that is now the problem statement. Senior market is missing platform for education and general blockchain. We could improve that even further if somebody is good at turning things into nice looking problem statements. I'm only good at ideating on this. What we usually can also do is once you get like this, we could go even deeper by asking again, but in order to get through this, because I think we got the nice direction, and we could skip the problem statement further and move it to the next stage, which is ideating on a specific solution or collection of specific solutions. Since we already kind of hinted about the educational impact and the platform that we need, I will already add here that in Catalyst School, there we are collaborating to create like a very simple blockchain education of like what is wallet, how to set it up, and I think this kind of like live sessions and Zoom calls would be like one answer to this and about these topics. But now back to you, what kind of information you think seniors should learn about first, and in which content it should be provided? Like, how do we pull this problem statement into a solution?
I think, Tevo, this technology is awesome. It beats erasing and rewriting and stuff. Love it. If I understand it, I'm thinking from my own journey, and Scott and Keith, if you remember your journey, I went through stages in getting into this world. The first was just awareness, and it probably started with Bitcoin. Then it became terms, just learning terms and abbreviations. The next stage was ecosystems of social networks. Like Scott said, to navigate Cardano, we have to be on 7-8 different platforms. Then I think there was a difference, learning about the difference of networks, level 1, level 2, what's Web3, etc. And then it started becoming more granular with the networks or the ecosystems themselves. So I learned in stages. And when I discovered Cardano, for instance, and I saw Catalyst and I saw governance, and I staked coins, opening the wallet was the next one, safeguarding keys, all different stages of my education. And then I staked, and then I'm now involved in Catalyst a little bit, and the community. So it's a stage thing, I think, in the education process for me. I don't know about the others.
I think the important point for seniors is like what you hit on earlier, which is what's in it for them. And they're being milked probably with their savings accounts, and seeing their savings accounts going down next to nothing, and they're unaware of the opportunities that are out there with staking, with DeFi apps, launch pads with all these different mechanisms that are being created. And I think it would be good to introduce seniors to something like Sunday Swap. You know, that would also promote Cardano. And you know, I just hate to see the senior community just missing out on these opportunities. So I'm sure there's ways to connect to senior communities. There's senior communities all over the United States, and maybe do some kind of Zoom presentation. This could be brainstormed, and I'm sure we can reach a lot of people. And but that's pretty much what I want to say about that. And I would like to collaborate with you, Tom, if you're open to that. And contact information in the chat, but definitely reach out to me.
Yes.
Oh, I think this is important, Keith. I'd love to collaborate with you and any other person that, you know, believes in it.
What I was going to suggest is, would it help people to try and map existing terminology onto blockchain technology? So as an example, a deposit account is a bit like staking. It's not a perfect match, but where you go and put your money in the bank and they lend it out to somebody else and they charge interest and then pay you back some interest. It's trying to give people the equivalent terminology so they can understand what they're looking at, like DAOs and staking. It's like the words don't mean anything to you at the start. The concept of a DAO, what does it even mean? So it's maybe trying to lead people in from concepts they're aware of already and get the closest thing to that in the DeFi world. Terrible examples from me, by the way. I should have thought about it a bit more before I spoke, but there you go. I
like the fact that comparing concepts, that's like what to do in this wherever this education is happening. So I brought out like live sessions and local sessions, and what you guys started talking about is what kind of and how to do it, and like the Tom's way of, I kind of lost some stages, but having like a journey of all of these stages, what would be the necessary information. So in my mind, like increasing awareness, I think this should happen maybe after they kind of know about how to navigate through platforms, and after they know about like having an awareness of what is blockchain and what it can do. So what if you could help, what could be the last stage of when would you ever learn about Sunday swap or exchange?
I would put swapping towards the latter part of the education process, because I think, I mean, I'm an orphan now, but if you have an elderly mother or father, would you try to get her to put her money into Sunday Swap and pull it right away? Probably not. You know, if she writes mortgages, she's probably very happy to get 2% on her mortgage money right now, or 2.5%. You know, trying to get them to get 130% might be a little shocking to them. So I would put that in seriousness towards the end. I think you need to bring them along in stages, and maybe there's modules that are self-educating, do at your own pace type of thing. But Keith, what do you think about that one?
I think you make a good point. Just maybe an introduction first, and not just dive into deep into the pool and go into Sunday Swap right away. There's, I think, a process, and it probably could be variable depending on the person's interest, because some people are just going to really latch on to this and maybe want to go deeper into the space. And if there's a mechanism,
some concepts or trigger something. So my first module would have been intro to crypts, you know, just the basic intro. Second nodule would have been security concerns, real web scammers, wallet seed phrase, never take DMs, things like that. Third nodule was terms and abbreviations, such as, like Scott said earlier, Eli 5, Crypt, FUD, FOMO, Moon, etc. Fourth nodule was social networks for education purposes, the Reddits, the Telegrams. The fifth nodule was a brief explanation of projects, e.g. what is POS versus POW and pure proof of stake and things like that. The sixth nodule was wallets explained. Seventh was then CEX versus DEX, and then it went on. I had done about 17 different nodules, started getting into deep dives into ADA. It's, you know, deep dive into Ether, deep dive into Bitcoin, things like that. But that was further down the road.
Yep. Okay, from that stuff, I added 2 more stickies. I think security concerns are like fundamentals. So let's add the stage of fundamentals. I'm not sure about acronyms, but perhaps this is something, I don't know. Let's add it to the. I'm not sure if we kind of need it. It comes with the awareness of compare concepts. I guess it also is. We can explain with infographics, like same thing, and this does the same thing a bit. Wallets did go more to the end. Okay, they are still in the end, but I'm still not quite unsure where would this be, like how to explain, navigate through platforms, like when this section happens, when we teach the person, hey, here is a Telegram and this is how it's used. There is a Discord, this is how it's used. This is a Zoom call, this is how it's used. Does it go to the fundamentals, or this or this navigation or community engagement is something we go through like in a general in the fundamentals, but in the end this platform is as important or less important as a wallet itself, like putting that on the same level. So they just pick and choose. I want to learn about wallet today I want to learn about Telegram.
I think that might be a good way to approach it. Is let them make the choices, put them in fundamentals. But maybe as a community, we can rate which ones we think they should do first.
Okay, cool. On that note, yep, this is pretty good. I would like to share something. Okay, later I will put in a mini proposal. I created an ecosystem chart. I was doing a survey, and this, like mapping out tooling ecosystem, just reminded me of that Miro board, which is helpful to see what kind of tools we have, and then could be used as an extra material. So what we right now did, we kind of ideated on pretty much solutions we could bring for this problem statement. So after mapping out and ideating through the possible solutions, which could we cover, what specific path we could take, now we have a lot of like concepts of where could we start, which is the first like action item pretty much. So I think it would be even cool if we start voting here, like selecting, okay, which of these projects would we want to see first happening, because we are on so different levels. But I don't know. Do we want to do that? like just to see what kind of result we see. Okay, then I'm gonna drop my report. Now you usually get too ahead of like voting on everything, but that's not actually the real goal. I just like it's like a game. This is so last there. Actually, that is quite interesting. Seems that all the awareness, like how to increase awareness in whatever manner, all got one. So everybody has one, like one for local, one for live, and one for blogs. Infographics is quite heavy because technically these acronyms, files, and compare concept, comparing existing infographics. Well, these three are pretty much the same thing in my mind. And infographics is, yeah, infographics would be another thing on here. Risk gets high information, security concerns, fundamentals, main points. So it kind of adds to all of these, strengthens all of that, and mapping out tooling ecosystem and learning about wallets. And everything else is like secondary. I love it. So how would you go and create a proposal about it? So now once you have a problem statement, you can pretty much select, okay, I want to compare these concepts. And let's say this is a DAO and this is a cooperative business and maybe a playground to the like even or a senior billiard club, and compare the differences with these. And that research material, that educational material, or the event or whatever, how you drive that can be a proposal. And if you use that mini proposal concept in that scenario, you are highly likely to not be misunderstood and voters understand what they're voting for. So this is how we kind of start the proposal process and from this session alone, which we had 1 hour or so, and we were able to pretty much create like 1, 2, 3, 4 proposals and sprinkle like different ways how to do it, local sessions, live session, website blogs. You can kind of put it under one proposal and say, okay, there is a $500 budget for local, there is a 500 for live sessions. Like there are more chapters to like go more into depth. Okay, what team roles, who is gonna do the content, who is gonna share the announcements, who's gonna participate, what kind of, who we gonna contact for reshares, etc. If you want to learn more about it, you can also, of course, contact me or try along. And at the start, I mentioned like putting down names. So now again, since nobody took initiative, maybe now you're more interested to put your name down or your contact address, so we can share it in the YouTube or in the community. And so if somebody feels like, hey, this is great path to work on proposals, or maybe because even proposal creation itself is a job, even if it doesn't come and help to make the session or create the educational content, but helps you to create the proposals that get funded and gets your idea through or the collective idea through, it's already a good contribution. Yeah, so in order to create like select your best answer, we could put whatever from here. And I don't know, I would do I guess let's finish it. I don't know, I just somehow got the talking taking.
You know, he makes it seem like easy peasy, so to speak. This is he when I was in my middle age was the kid I needed to hook up my VCR because he knew the stuff.
But anyway, I created an example solution. So creating education live session to compare blockchain concepts. And if we will go even narrower, like explaining DAO, or if we want, sometimes you don't want to go to, but just having like that, we are making educational live sessions to compare blockchain concepts, or maybe add the infographics where there. Either way, this is kind of makes sense. And once you go to the detail plan, you can say, okay, we're gonna do comparing these acronyms. And yeah, one more thing we could do here is when we ask, like, give 3 reasons why this solution answers the problems, like senior market is missing platform education on general blockchain. And in order to answer that, creating educational live sessions to compare blockchain concepts. And if you could answer like why, then we will find out that yes, if we provide them the know-how of like compare them what is in centralized, what they already know, and compare it with something they don't know yet, it will be much easier to adopt when they jump from known to unknown compared to just explaining the unknown, because then they don't have anything to attach with. But skipping this like question, I would want to brainstorm on a proposal name itself. So if we now have this senior market, this problem statement and solution, what would the name be? But before we go into that, we have to decide, would we want to create a brand for this? So what I mean by that is, now we created this option of, okay, we create this concept, like this educational thing, but in when we create these kinds of like lot of proposals, we could split it down even like further. Okay, this is concept 1, research, and then community votes on what research they want to be done. Or we can keep it a bit high level, and I would prefer a slightly high level, like, okay, here is about concepts, and here is about securities concerns, here about education about other risks, and here is about education about learning wallets. And now these are 4 different proposals, and in order to make it easier for voter to like recognize that name and that person or that concept behind it, you have a brand name there. So let's say Senior Academy. And now when they read the first proposal, they go to, and they say, oh, that's a great idea, I'm gonna vote for that. And whenever another time they find that title, Senior Academy, and now different concept, then the mind kind of clicks, okay, this is something I already wanted to see before, and they might like easier to vote, and they are already like easier to consume that information because it's similar. They're like, okay, still education, still improving the awareness things, like it's just for the mind's sake, it's easier, but it's not, of course, always not needed. But this is an option between choosing a brand for the proposal and not to. And what do you think, Kara? Vote. If you have to, you can add your own comments or can do voting.
I tongue in cheek always thought crypt for old farts might go somewhere, but as I get older, crypt means something in the ground and my body laying in it, so I'd kind of stay away from that. But as branding, if you could possibly work the number 4 in, like crypto for seniors or crypto for Cardano seniors or something along those lines. Just throwing it out there as a spitball.
Well, since Simon and Tom already ideated on brand names, so I guess that sounds appealing idea. Let's wait for Cauê and Kate also to input few names or many of them. Let's add them all in here, and then we can have also again a voting, and that's how a title is born. Or so that would be a brand name.
I like crypto for senior citizens. I think that would work. It's a good point. You know,
Well, take it a step further. Something that Heath said before, I believe, was how do you incentivize seniors to do some of these programs? It just popped in my head. What if down the road you create a Cardano token for seniors as an incentive, and also discounts, since we seniors are on a fixed income and we like our discounts?
I think that's a brilliant idea.
So then the branding has to be really strong if that even has traction with anybody.
True, but to start with someone, I see a lot of examples where there is no spaces in between. Is that the style, or it's just? I have to be a bit negative now, in a sense that unfortunately these names are too long. I think the catalyst allows only 140 characters, and by the looks of that, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know, or 40, not 140. I think it was 40 characters. I did write it somewhere, but I deleted because I thought it's not needed. Well, whatever. So usually what I did for voting was we copy pasted that 100 mark and put it into a name, you will see. But since we are so used to this voting method, let's have a vote. But before we go or do that, let's do the second part also. So we have the brand, but what is the name? So we currently, let's focus on the idea of like creating educational live session to compare blockchain concepts. So how would we create this into title so it would hold that information and be snappy about it and makes it on point?
You know, it's so tough to be tagged all your life with a generational moniker, you know. But I have less time than you, so.
Maybe there was something we dropped or talked about. Education impact.
Yeah, I just threw out that, what's the moniker they use? Explain like I'm 5. Yeah, they explain like I'm 65. Not the I, it's ELI, right?
What is the ELI 65? Or
That was the misspelling on my part, Tevo. That I meant the ELI 65.
Okay. That would be great. Funny, like C4CC ELI 65, and then all the seniors will be like, what?
Well, you guys all under 60 have all these acronyms. Over 65, we should have some of our own.
And all the seniors be like, yeah, that these memes would be crazy. And then it goes round about like grandkids are coming. Oh my God, my grandfather is in ELI 65. And then there's memes about that. Okay, cool. And now let's do the voting. I'm gonna share the motherboard again. And we'll set up the voting. I'm gonna give 4 votes, 2 minutes. And what we do is everybody votes for 2 brand names and 2, actually let's give more. Let's give 3 brand names and 3 proposal names. And Okay, I selected entire board. I didn't select an array. So yeah, just stick to the names and plans and proposal names. 3 for below and 3 for down. And yeah, Simon, you can also, when you have the recording, you can just, if you put it on a Google, you can drop it in this Marboard. Whenever somebody puts here something, I will get the notification, so I can just bring it forth and add like a comment or something back to you. Hey, I got this. Once you have the video out, then you will see you can delete it and save your time. Okay, see your results. What did happen here? Share screen. I don't know, do you see the same results? That's what I'm going to share screen. Well, if you look at these results, then Cardano for seniors, explain like I'm 65. It's a strong name. Strong name. I'll make a picture of that. And yeah, thanks for joining. That was a mini proposal workshop. And this is the tool I'm kind of creating with community. I'm learning from every time I do something new. Like never had this discussion, and always it's new. Like I guess I'm gonna say it every time. Oh, I never had this discussion. Because there's always new people, new faces, new things to talk about. This is the template. You can copy paste it. If you want a new one, I can just create you a new one. Everything should be able to copy paste them. Yep. I guess something is happening. I can create a totally new one if you want right now. So maybe I should have prepared. I always am thinking about it. Maybe I should prepare something, and then I prepare it. And then when before the session starts, I'm like, oh, damn it, I haven't prepared for session, and took this template and run with that one. Let me see. Where is that? Mini proposal workshops. Yeah. No. Share mini proposal templates. New board. I should maybe look into like how to upload the template into Myroverse, because there should be a download option to download templates too, but I haven't done anything there. Let's call it Simon proposal. New proposal process, use template. Share the template. A new mirror board for whoever whoever decides to take it. You can make a copy of this. You can use it, and if nobody uses it, then I'm gonna use it for the next session. Yeah, if you use Miro first time, it's free, but then you can only do 3 motherboards. But over time, you can see that if you're gonna like it, you're gonna want a lot of them. Any feedback you want to add? How this process went, or how could we improve that? What went well, what went bad?
I think it was a fantastic practice, Tevo. I thank you for your patience and your professionalism in this. It was impressive to see how it just developed out. Great job, community. Thank you very much.
One more time, I'm gonna try push it for something for a negativity, like what went bad or what could be added, so that would be easier for me to know. All right, then thanks for joining. There are other rooms still online. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. See you around in the community.
Thank you very much.